there is a proverb in Bengali that স্বাধীনতা অর্জনের চেয়ে স্বাধীনতা রক্ষা করা কঠিন, which means in English that protecting your independence is more difficult than gaining it. So it is now we are in like that situation that we have gained our independence. We have compelled Sheikh Hasina, made her compelled to resign from her seat. But we need to protect our independence right now. We need to stop all the anarchy and chaos that things are going on.
This is Anika Tehseen Hafsa, a student from the University of Dhaka, who talked to DRM about the ongoing situation in Bangladesh. At 4:20 p.m. on August 5th, a C-130 Hercules with the flight sign AJAX1413 entered Uttar Pradesh airspace in India. The plane disappeared from the public record after 5:01 p.m. when it was seen flying above Lucknow. This C-130J became the most tracked aircraft globally that day. The plane was a Bangladeshi Air Force aircraft carrying the fourth-time Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina Resigns, as she fled the country in the wake of a historic student uprising. So what's going on in Bangladesh and how did a sitting Prime Minister flee the country? Let's go back to where it started. On July 16, students from Dhaka University were violently beaten with rods and sticks by police as they were staging a peaceful sit-in to demand reform to the Bangladeshi quota system. Following this crackdown, students from across Bangladesh poured into streets and the protests turned bloody. The latest updates revealed that around 300 people have been killed by the Bangladeshi regime, while hundreds more are injured.
There was almost 30% reservation for the third generation of the freedom fighters who fought for our country. So we found it was really unfair to have 30% reservation for the third generation, not even for the freedom fighters, for the son and daughters of the freedom fighters, for the grandsons of the freedom fighters. And it was almost a quota movement till 13th of July. So then 14th July, our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina declared us as Razakars. So if I say about what is Razakar, who the people who are who are traitors, who deceive with your country, who like the worst abuse that can be for us would be Razakars. So she called us Razakar. So students again protested. The protest enraged on 14th July. So on 15th July, the student wing of the ruling party Awami League, it was called Chhatra League or Bangladesh Student League. Student League attacked us on 15th of July. Then the movement turned from quota reform movement to the movement against indiscrimination.
Razakar that Anika refers to is a derogatory term used for people who fought on the Pakistani side during the 1971 War of Liberation. The quota system in government jobs was introduced in 1972 by the founding father of Bangladesh, Sheikh Rehman. The system, after undergoing several modifications, finally reserved around 30% of the government jobs for families of freedom fighters from the 71 Bangladesh Independence War. During the 1990s, discontent started brewing regarding the misuse of policy by the government to undermine meritocracy. A unified movement broke out in 2018 when students took to the street to demand reform to the quota system. Following countrywide protests, Sheikh Hasina's government abolished the freedom fighters' quota. Things went quiet for a while, only to resurface more emphatically in June 24 when the Bangladesh High Court reinstated the quota, declaring its abolition unconstitutional. Students led by the Students Against Discrimination announced countrywide shutdown and strikes, not just to protest the decision but also the violence that was unleashed on their fellows by the state. The movement took a different turn after students were met with brute violence and went after the regime itself. The student leaders settled on a one-point agenda that the Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina Resigns stepped down for her complicity in the repression of students. Ms. Resigns has been in office since January 2009. She is the daughter of Sheikh Mujibur Rehman, the founding father of Bangladesh. She also stayed in power from June 1996 to July 2001. She is the longest serving premier in Bangladesh history, and according to a WikiLeaks survey in 2019, she is also the longest serving female head of the state in the world.
She has been ruling the country since 15 years. And during these 15 years, we have had 3 elections. And people all over the country has a grudge against her because all these 3 elections, there was not a justified voting system. People could not vote. People could not had their rights of vote. They could not, it was corrupted everywhere.
Sheikh Hasina has faced the heat for her alleged political engineering over the years. Just a year before, in 23, when Ms. Wajid was eyeing a fourth term in office, the Bangladeshi opposition organized protests across the country to demand her resignation in order to give way to an impartial caretaker government. Not only did she refuse to step down, but she also unleashed a police crackdown on opposition members. The ensuing violence resulted in the killing of at least one person, while some 100 people were injured. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, acknowledging the lack of transparency, said, "In the months leading up to the war, thousands of opposition supporters were detained or subjected to intimidation. Such tactics are not conducive to a truly genuine process." During the recent protests, Ms. Wajid was caught in the eye of the storm, with national and international entities reproaching her for her heavy-handedness. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, released a video message on July 25th.
Today, I'm calling on the Bangladesh government urgently to disclose full details about last week's crackdown on protests amid growing accounts of horrific violence.
We talked to another student from Dhaka University about the state-sponsored violence she has endured and observed during the riots.
I have been attacked. I have been attacked by the police. Tear shell, they throw tear shell as the sound grenades that are. But I have been fortunate enough that I have not been shot or hit by anyone. So I have been fortunate and but my mental, that is me physically being safe. But my mental state, it's a total chaos. It has been a mess. I have seen people getting shot in front of me, and I have seen that person die later. And my friends, I have seen them being attacked, and the videos of people being murdered, being attacked. They are being paralyzed. They lost their vision. All these videos and pictures and news, it has really taken a toll on my mental health.
Sheikh Hasina's rule has been marred by multiple allegations of corruption. Around 15 cases had been lodged against her from 2001 to 2008 when she was out of power. One case alleged that she used state money to lobby in the US Congress between her 1996 to 2001 term in office. Sheikh Hasina was accused of appointing a lobbyist for Bangladesh Export Zone Authority in the Congress, which, according to the anti-corruption watchdog, resulted in heavy financial losses for the state. But as soon as she came to power in 2009, all 15 of the cases against her were either withdrawn or discarded. In January 23, the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project published an investigation carried out by the Bangladeshi journalist Zulkarnain Sayer, claiming that a politician close to Hasina Wajid owned around $4 million worth of real estate in New York. After the report went out, Zulkarnain's brother was assaulted by unidentified men and he received threatening messages. Zulkarnain alleged that this was the doing of Sheikh Hasina's government. A survey by the International Republican Institute in 2023 found out that although Wajid was popular with voters at the time, the support for the opposition was rapidly growing in Bangladesh. The survey also revealed the widespread discontent with country's political and economic situation. The support for the opposition grew from 36% in September 2019 to 63% in August 2023. On the 21st of July, a Supreme Court ruling rolled back most of the freedom fighters' quota, but this did not stop the protests.
They have killed our brothers, they have killed our sisters. So we cannot forgive easily, right? So the movement then turned into a movement for equality. And then after killing so many people, for 6 days, there was an internet blackout. Entire country, there was no internet for over than 6 days. From 18 July to almost 20 to 23 July. There was overly internet blockade and there was a genocide during this time. Okay, so helicopter from the sky, they were like throwing grenade, throwing bullets on us through the helicopters. And then she deployed army in the road, and she announced curfew.
Before 5th August, protests were being carried out in different parts of the country. A week-long disruption to internet services and the Prime Minister's refusal to give in propelled the students to organize a long march to the capital. The Prime Minister left the country before the protesters could storm her residence. The Bangladeshi Chief of Army Staff, General Waqaruzzaman, addressed the nation at 2 pm on the same day, stating that an interim government would be set up in Bangladesh and a judicial inquiry would soon follow. An official meeting between the top army brass and political leaders was held in the President House. The coordinator of the Students Against Discrimination, Asif Mahmood, has issued a statement on his social handles saying that the interim government that the army has alluded to would only be accepted by students if they are taken on board during its formation. The organizers have put forward the name of Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus to head the government. Discussions on the shape of the new government are still underway at the time of reporting.
Underestimated our power, and now before this moment I did not know that I love my country so much, I love my people this much, that I'm even ready to sacrifice my life for it. And I think almost all of the people from my generation will agree to it, that we always wanted to leave this country for a better life, but now we are thinking of reforming the country, not because leaving is not the solution.